All right, guys, welcome back. We got another video for you guys. We got more GR Corolla products. Today, we are going to go over our plug-and-play subwoofer kits for the GR Corolla, JBL or non-JBL. These kits will also work in the normal Corollas, sedan or hatchback, JBL or non-JBL. The harnessing will be a little different, and maybe the way the enclosures fit will be slightly different, but because they share the same audio systems, you'll be able to use them in a GR Corolla or non-GR Corolla. What we have here would be two options from Audison and one from Hertz. So we have our Audison 10, our Audison 8, and then we have a Hertz 8. So what we're doing is we're taking these enclosures, we're taking these systems, and we're building our own harnesses, we're building our own hardware, and we're putting it together and creating a plug-and-play kit for you guys so that you can get some bass in your car and not have to take it to a shop. Maybe you want to try it on your own. Maybe you don't want to modify anything in the car to get bass. This will be your best bet to do that. With that said, we can take a look at what these guys will offer. Audison and Hertz, they are sister companies, so they do share a lot of the same technologies. These guys here we use in our complete plug-and-play kits as well. So our full system kits, we'll use Audison enclosures or even Hertz, like these bigger Hertz enclosures over here. We use these a lot in most of our systems. So we are very confident in what these guys will do, what kind of performance you'll get out of them. I've used them in my own GR, and that's basically what we use to design these kits in my personal GR. So, as far as what technologies and whatnot that they share, they're all a high efficiency, low impedance amplifiers. What that means is best performance and best power with the most minimal power drain on your electrical systems. So, less current consumption, better stability at higher volumes to get you good sound with less distortion. They also have dynamic bass tracking. So what that means is as you turn your volume up on your factory system, we tend to get distortion in the bass. The bass tends to do weird things, just the way that Toyota designs their systems. So that dynamic bass tracking is going to help track that in real time and adjust and compensate so that you don't get that distortion at high volume and you get good, clean sound across the board. So that eliminates the need for an external line output converter, anything like that to integrate into the factory system. Everything is already built into these enclosures. So super simple, super easy, very simple install, very good sound in fairly compact sizes. So when we look at the enclosures here on the side, we have our amplifiers. This is all of our input section. We have our big power connector. We're going to have all of our controls, our gain, crossover, bass boost controls, and then we're going to have some switches for the auto turn on, and things like that. Most of that stuff will come preset for you guys. So all you got to do is plug it in, maybe make some adjustments on your gain control, but for the most part, they're set up ready to go. As far as how they fit into the vehicles, you do have quite a few different ways you can do that. So with the Audison enclosures here, this is how the enclosure comes as standard. You can just set it in your trunk just like this, lay it down, turn it around, however you want to do that. If you want something that's a little bit more set in place, then we recommend using the included legs. So these legs here, it'll come with 4 legs. It also comes with the bolts for it, so you can attach it to the enclosure. You just got to pop these little tabs off, and then this guy will bolt to each corner of the enclosure. So with the legs have Velcro on the bottom, so it also helps keep it in place. But what it does is once you put the legs on, it'll sit in your trunk just like this. So what I do is tuck it off into the corner, with the controls up against the corner. All the wiring is hidden. Everything is super clean. Because it's in a down firing configuration, so the subwoofer fires at the floor, it's completely protected. So you can put things on the enclosure. You can put things around the enclosure. You don't got to worry about damaging a speaker. It isn't ported, so you don't have to worry about blocking a port. So you literally can put stuff all around it, put things on top. It's a solid MDF enclosure, so you definitely be able to put things on it. I've put tires and wheels on it and they're perfectly fine. So I mean, you're gonna mess up the carpet, but you're not gonna damage the structure of the enclosure. So that is my preferred way to do it. With the Velcro on the legs, it is super strong, and you'll see later on in the video we will have some clips of it in the GR and kind of how it fits size wise, so you can get a good comparison. The Velcro is very strong, so it's gonna stop this enclosure from sliding around. We all have GRs, we all know what they were made for, we all like to have fun with them, so this is going to help keep this guy stuck down. It's not going to move around. So that would be the way I do it. If you don't want to put it on your floor and you're wondering, can I put it under the floor? Yes, you can cut your foam. Any one of these three will fit under the floor if you cut your foam. For those of you that want to put it under the floor, we do include a template, which is this guy here. So with this template, we have 3 different cutouts depending on the enclosure. And you'll see later in the video of how that template is used. But we did want to include that to make it easy for you guys, because we do get some questions on like our full system kits of where do I cut to make these fit under my floor. So with that template, you'll be able to lay that down, follow your cutout. It'll make it super simple and super easy for you guys. We want to make this as easy of an install for you so that you have the most confidence in what you're doing. You're not left with questions, and you'll get the best performance for what you're doing. So that would be these 2 enclosures here, the 10 and the 8. Also, the 10 is a 400 watt enclosure, 400 watt amplifier. The 8 is a 250 watt amplifier, and then the Hertz 8 is a 220 watt amplifier. So that's your power differences between the two. All right, and from there we move over to the Hertz system. So this may look a little familiar to you guys. I'm sure you've seen other GR owners that use the JBL Bass Pro Nano or the Bass Pros. These are basically designed to be installed under one of the front seats. A lot of companies make subwoofer enclosures like this. This is Hertz version of it. So this is an 8-inch woofer. It is a metal enclosure. On the side here, we have all of our inputs, our connections, all of our controls, everything on the side here. These do fit under the passenger seat in the GR Corolla. It is a tight fit, but it will fit. I just got it under there. So it is a little bit of a fit to get in, but it definitely fits in there. If you don't want to put it under the passenger seat, you can follow that template. You can cut your foam and stick this guy under the floor, or you can also put it on one of the sides. So the way the GR Corolla trunk is, there's those 2 little drop-offs on the edge of each side of the floor. You can actually slide this right in there. It'll basically just drop in. And you'll see in the video, I believe we have it set in there so you can take a look at how that fits. So you do have 3 or 4 different ways you can put this in the GR if you decide to go with this here. From there, what you also get in our kit would be our expandable T-harness. So whether it's JBL or non-JBL, this is a JBL harness. The non-JBL I don't have out here, but same theory. So if you haven't seen our T-harnesses are meant to be expandable. So we have quick disconnects for each channel. So for one of these enclosures, you would just use one of the specific channels, and we'll include that in there of which one you'll use. But if you do decide that, I want to add a 4-channel amp, or maybe I want to do a complete system, maybe I want to step up to one of the DSP amplifiers that we offer, you'll be able to use this T-harness for no matter what. You won't have to buy a new one. You won't have to cut your harness. Everything is ready to go for you to unplug and plug in to get signal no matter what channel you need. So this is included with the kit. What's also included is the extension. So this is our signal extension harness. So this end plugs into our T-harness. This cable will run to the trunk or under the seat and plug in for our audio signal. We also have our power and ground harness. So with this, we have our fuse holder and our mounting bracket with the hardware included. This is the same fuse holder and bracket that we use in our complete kit. So you'll see that guy in there. So you get this as well. And then you get your subwoofer control knob. So with the Audison, this is the knob that you get here. It's a bit smaller knob. You can find a home for this up front, run the cable to the back, plug it in, and then you'll have separate volume control for your subwoofer. And then the Hertz is going to be a slightly different knob, a little bit bigger knob, but same theory. Mount this up front, plug it in there, and then you'll have your subwoofer control. And that's basically everything that comes with the kit. It's everything that you're going to need to make this plug and play. You can do it to where there's absolutely no modifications to the vehicle. You don't have to tap any wires. You don't have to cut any wires. You don't have to strip anything. You don't have to drill anything. Everything literally just plugs right in. Only modification that you would do is cutting the foam if you decide to go that route to get this installed under the trunk floor. So with that said, at the end of the video, you'll see some installation clips and some fitment clips so you can get a better idea of how these guys lay out in there. As far as more information or purchasing of these products, we're still working on our website. So what we would ask is drop a comment here at YouTube or send us a message on Instagram. We'll link our Instagram as well. Send us a message on there, and then we'll work with you guys to answer any other questions or get you guys set up with a sale if you guys are interested in purchasing any of these products or any of our other GR products. So other than that, thanks for watching, and check out these install clips at the end. Okay, so in this video, we're going to show you how to use the cutout template for the GR Corolla plug-and-play subwoofer options. I'll get that over here. We'll get it in. You guys can see how that'll work, how it lines up, and basically what you need to do to cut your foam. So to start, we're in our trunk. Super simple. First, we're going to remove our floor, which literally just pulls right out of the car. So you will see that mine is already cut. I did go ahead and cut it first. I am going to do some other different stuff in here, so I kind of already had some things cut. But this is just to show you how the template's going to fit and how that's going to work out. So included in all of our plug-and-play subwoofer kits will be this cutout template here. So this cutout template, the way that it works is you're going to slide it forward up against the back of the seat and then all the way into this corner. So that corner is going to line up with that top corner of the trunk. And depending on what enclosure you're going to be installing, it's basically laid out for you here. So whether you're going to do the Audison 10, the Audison 8, or the Hertz 8, you'll just follow one of these rectangles here. You can do it a bunch of different ways, whatever works better for you. What I would recommend you do is, if you have some thumbtacks, you can thumbtack this down straight into the foam just to hold the template in place. And then you can take a razor blade and just trace right on the line, right onto the foam. That'll give you a guideline of where you're going to cut. As you do that, just be a little careful because there are pockets where there's nothing underneath. So when you cut through, you may just push and rip the template. So just be careful when you're cutting through it. Again, you're just trying to score the plastic just so you have a mark to do your actual cut. So you're just going to trace that out with the template. Once you get it all cut out and traced, then we can pull this guy out of here. And once you get it pulled out, you'll be able to see on your foam where you had those score marks. And then now you can go in and actually cut the foam out. So again, I already cut mine. What I use is a drywall knife. This is pretty aggressive. The teeth are pretty big teeth. It'll cut it quick. The foam cut may not be as clean, but this will cut it fast. What I also would like to use is a sawzall blade, or not sawzall, but a hacksaw blade. The bimetal blades, the teeth are super small, so when you cut through it, it cuts really clean. I like to use the 12-inch ones because this foam is pretty thick, so you want to be able to go through it all the way, as opposed to like the drywall knife won't go all the way through. So what I do is, once I know where my 4 corners are that I'm going to be cutting to, I pre-drill pilot holes in the 4 corners, and then we'll take the hacksaw blade, drop it down, and then you're basically just going to start making your cuts. It'll take a little while to cut through and make it clean, but once you get that cut out, you'll end up with something like this. And that's how it fits once everything's cut up. So this is the 10-inch, so the 10-inch fits perfect. If the 10 fits, then either of the 8s are going to fit, of course, because they are smaller. Again, my opening is cut a little bit bigger because I had some other things in here, but essentially that's really how you're going to have it in there. If you cut your piece smaller, more according to the size, then this will be a lot more snug. It won't move around. Like right now, it'll flap around because I don't have the hole cut tighter to the enclosure. So just make sure you follow a template. You can start a little small. If you follow the cutout lines, that's going to get you a pretty tight fit. And then from there, you can just open it up a little bit bigger if you need to. It's just really a matter of how you want it to fit. But once it's in there, height-wise, this is kind of where we're at. So we do sit right below the foam, but then with the speaker grill, it brings it right there. Now we can put the floor back in. So that's with the floor back in. We still have support. This floor is not very solid as is anyway, but over where we cut, we still have good support. We can still put things on there. It's not going to be a problem. And we don't get any bulging or anything in the floor. It sits flat just like everything else does. Don't mind the mess. But that is basically how that guy will fit. So again, that is the 10. the 8 Audison and the Hertz 8, of course, will be smaller, so you just follow those cutouts. As far as the wiring portion of this, it is a very straightforward install. You have your positive and negative here on your battery, so the harnesses will already be set up for it. It'll already have ring terminals and everything on it. And basically what you're gonna do is, let's just take this out real quick here. Okay. So once we look down in here, on the back side of this battery, there is a metal, it's like a metal flap down here that's got some holes in it. So we have a fuse holder bracket that's gonna be made to bolt in there. It'll come with the hardware for it. If you refer to our complete plug-and-play system install guide, the way that the fusing and everything installs for this is going to be exactly the same as that. So you can go check that video out. That'll show you how the fuse holder and everything installs. Don't mind these fuse holders because, again, that's for a different system that I'm doing in this car. And then from there, you would just hook up your constant and your ground, so your 12 volt and your ground right to the battery. From there, that leaves your signal cables and your remote knob cable. So if you have the JBL system, you're going to run that forward to the driver's seat. You're going to get under the driver's seat, and the plugs are going to look exactly like the JBL amp plugs. Unplug, plug in. Again, you can refer to our plug-and-play system install guide, and that'll show you how that works. If you're non-JBL, that harness is going to run up behind the factory head unit, so you will remove that head unit. I didn't make a video on the head unit removal, but I'm sure there's something on YouTube. It is a super easy install. If anybody needs help with that, we're definitely here to help you with that, or we can make a quick video on the head unit removal as well. Okay, and as far as using these boxes and just putting them on the floor in the trunk, of course, you can just put it like this or stand it up however you want, but the enclosure does come with included feet that's secure here. So there's going to be 4 plastic clips that are on the ends of the boxes. I already have most of them popped out. When we pop them out, you have a little threaded hole, and the included hardware will screw in, and then we'll mount these guys down, and then when I get them mounted up, we'll show you how that works. They do come with Velcro on them. I will say that the Velcro is very aggressive, and because the carpet in our trunk floor on the GRs, it's pretty thin, so I would be a little careful with this. You can just peel it off, it just sticks in there, so if you want, you could peel the Velcro off. But if you do stick it down with the Velcro to the floor, it is gonna fray up your carpet a little bit. So just keep that in mind as a precautionary warning. All right, so when we have our legs mounted to the enclosure, this is basically how it sits on our floor. I did leave the Velcro on, so that will show you guys how aggressive the Velcro is. It literally moves the floor around. You lift it and it lifts the floor. That's how strong this Velcro is. It's good and bad. Good if you're driving through twisties and you don't want this thing sliding around. Definitely a plus. If you want to be able to easily take it out and you're worried about the actual carpet getting a little fuzzy, you may not want to use that Velcro. It is pretty aggressive. I'm going to sit you right here, and I need 2 hands to pop this out. So we'll just move it off to the side here, and you can see pretty much right away where it was. It didn't rip the carpet, but it definitely frays it up a little bit. So one thing to keep in mind, just as a warning, if you don't want your carpet to get a little fuzzy in those 4 spots, you can peel this Velcro off. It's just stuck in there, so just peel it and it'll come right out, and then you'll still be able to use the legs, but it won't be completely stuck to the floor. So okay, so we come over to the Hertz 8-inch enclosure. This is set up very similar to the JBL Base Pro Nanos. It is a metal enclosure, 8-inch woofer, self-contained amplifier. So again, these are designed for like under seats and whatnot. It is a tight fit under the GR seat because it is taller than the JBL Base Pro Nano, but it does fit. I have installed them under there. So you can install it under your front seat. You can follow the template and cut it out to fit it here under the floor if you want to do it that way. Or it also fits on the sides, so you can actually slide them in here. So you could fit one here and one here. If you wanted to do 2, you could do 2, and you could fit one on each side. I'll put the floor back in too. So not everybody would want it installed this way, but if you wanted to, you could just drop them right here on the side, and then you could drop one more right on this side. It's the same size on both sides, so you could fit those in there, and then they're still pretty out of the way without cutting any foam or anything, and you can still keep it in the trunk.